In this video, I'll be giving you guys 10 recruiting tips when you are recruiting at a small school. Now, the game's been out for a couple weeks now, so these are some things that I have found to help me when I am starting at a small school. So let's go ahead and jump into it. You can see I'm at New Mexico State, a one-star prestige school, and it's in Las Cruces. So tip number one when you are at a small school is use these 3 grades to your advantage, and it's going to be playing style, proximity to home, and playing time. Now you can see New Mexico State has all these other grades that are C, minus C, and those grades are all pretty much set for the most part. Obviously they'll change throughout the year, like a championship contender. If you're winning, that grade will improve. But these 3 grades, proximity to home, playing style, and playing time, is all specific to the recruits that you're recruiting. So with that, proximity to home, you will want to obviously recruit players in your regions close to you. Playing style, if you haven't checked out my other videos about playing style, recruiting grade, and how to improve it, but pretty much what it's going to be is it's going to be tied to the archetype of the player and the position as well. So quarterback, they're all going to care about passing yards. So when I say use this to your advantage, make sure if you are going after a quarterback and you really want to get this quarterback, make sure that you are passing the ball, because it's going to help you get this grade higher, especially if they care about the playing style. Then that's going to help a lot. And then playing time. If you're at a small school, playing time grades should be good for most of the players that you recruit, because your players aren't that good. And that should help have that higher for them, so you can use that to your advantage as well. Tip number 2 is going to be similar to the recruiting grade, proximity to home, but recruit players that are close to you, because like I said, it does automatically give you a good grade. You can see this player's deal breaker for this tight end is proximity to home, which what that means is that's going to be a green check mark for him. So make sure that you recruit players close to you. So like at New Mexico State, I would add all these players. Obviously it's only like two decent players. These other players I'm locked out of, unfortunately. But I would definitely want to recruit players in New Mexico, because I'm at New Mexico State. Now, if you are in Florida, you want to recruit players in Florida and the nearby states as well. So like in New Mexico, I would go New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, and find players that I'm close to, because that's a free good grade. And same thing, like you can see here with Arizona, A- proximity to home. So that's a free good grade, especially if that's their deal breaker. Like if I wanted to, I could probably try to go after this tight end and give it a shot, because I have a free green check mark that is going to be proximity to home. And that's going to be the same thing for this athlete, so you can add him to the list. And also, now if it doesn't have a deal breaker, that's not going to mean that it's guaranteed going to be a green check mark, but it is still a good grade as well. Now, tip number 3 is going to be recruit players that you're in the top 10 for. Now, obviously, it's okay to go for a couple players that you're not on their board, because you can offer them scholarships, add points, and you can low-key still get them even though they weren't interested in you originally. But I would always search and, to fill out your board, go to the players that are in the top 10 and just start adding players that are in the top 10, because those players are going to be a little bit easier to get, and they already have interest in your program. So that's going to help you fill your roster, get more depth, and get different positions as well, because you don't want to just sit here and go for a bunch of 4 stars, 5 stars that maybe you're not locked out of, but you're probably not going to be able to get all of them because you don't have that many points to spend. Now, tip number 4 is going to be make sure you guys are always checking those deal breakers. Now, here's an example. You can see this cornerback, bottom right, is going to say playing time. So playing time is usually good to have, but you can see the top corner is A+ playing time. The bottom is a B, and that is because this player would probably play over this one, and that means his is lower, even though the same position, is because he's on your board. If I took him off my board, boom, now this corner just went up to an A+ from a B. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get both of them, because they're both probably going to play, but you can see the grade does change. So just make sure you're checking those. Another one is the playing style one, deal breaker. The reason why I say check the deal breakers is because even though I'm going to use him as an example, I'm going to recruit this player, and I'm going to show you guys that if my team doesn't get picks, which is the deal breaker, or the playing style deal breaker, it goes by interceptions for slot corners, then I would be recruiting this player and eventually would get locked out because I'm not that deal breaker would go below. So I'll be wasting my points. So make sure you just check the deal breakers and make sure that you are doing whatever they need. So if it's a quarterback and their deal breaker's playing style, then make sure you're throwing the ball. If it's a corner, you're going to have to get interceptions. So that's going to matter. But it doesn't mean you can't recruit them, but I would just be careful, and I would probably, proximity to home never changes, so always recruit those deal breakers. Playing time is usually a good one that you can recruit as a small school, which shouldn't be a problem. In the future, at a smaller school, like your pro potential might go up because you have a good class and maybe you get 1 or 2 players drafted. But at the same time, if your next team doesn't, your overall's not high because you're at a small school, and maybe someone's deal breaker is pro potential and you have a B, so you're able to recruit those players, but their pro potential drops. Your pro potential drops below a B minus because the next year you don't have no players drafted. Either those players on your team that deal breaker was pro potential will be at risk of transferring, or you just won't be able to get no more players for pro potential. So just check those deal breakers and make sure they're sustainable and you can keep those grades above a B minus. All right, now tip number 5 is always make sure that you offer everyone on your board a scholarship in the first window. So an example, I'll move my camera real quick for this, but I go to ready or need scholarship, and I just click A and offer everyone a scholarship because, one, it will give you a bonus to your influence. So that means that you might not get locked out after that first week, and you might be able to move up in some players' interest in, into their top 8, into their top 5s. And also because I don't want to spend points later on having to offer a visit because of the fact that I didn't offer them this first window. Because the first window, you can only scout and offer scholarships. So later on, I want to use all my points because I'm a small school. I don't have that many points, and influence him to come to my school. Now, tip number 6, and it kind of goes with the scholarships, only scout in this first window. Now, the reason for that is the same for the scholarships. You want to save your points to influence players to come, so you don't want to be wasting scouting. Also, with that is these players, since you're at a small school, most of them are going to be able to play on your roster anyway. So, you won't be able to find out, which I don't know why I just backed out, but you won't be able to find out if they're gyms or not, which is unfortunate. But, 3 stars and 4 stars at a small program are probably going to play. You probably don't need a scout to know. Now, if you're just someone that's like, oh my God, I need to know their speed, then, you can waste your points or scout them in this first window, but don't scout past this first window. All right, now tip number 7 is going to be send the house for a player that you really, really want. Now, I've seen some people say, oh, well, you can contact friends and family, DM the player, and search social media, and you can see on the right, it gives you 4 ticks, 2 ticks, and 1 tick. So that's 7 ticks of influence compared to send the house only, gives you 5. But there's people that have talked to the devs, and that's just not the case. It's not how it works. It's just a visual. But send the house will be better for you than these 3 combined, if at face value. Now, with that, to tip number 8, which tip number 8 is going to be spread out your points. So now, if you want to use those 40 by you contacting friends and family, DM, and search instead of send the house to spread out your points, that is good. But don't not send the house if you really want a player. So what tip number 8 is spread out your points. Don't just go all in on a bunch of 4 stars. Go here, check the board, see who has scholarships. You can see he doesn't have a scholarship anywhere. So we're gonna send the house, try to get that 5-star tight end. But for most of these guys, 25 points here, 40 points there, and these lower guys that you might be higher on, or you couldn't go down here I'm here, go 25 there. Also, make sure you're going for different positions stuff. Like this athlete, I'm number 1 on, but I might really want him, go 25 there. Someone that, this player, quarterback, now if I really want him, I'm going to go put more points on, but I'm number 1, no one else is offering, I'm going to just go 10 points here. Spread out your points, go at different positions, D tackle here, number 1 on, make sure you can still get them. But players you really want, go send the house for. So if I really want, say the strong safety and the tight end, or say the right tackle, I'm going to say the right tackle, send the house on them. The rest of the players, if you want any of these other ones, I'm probably not going to go after 2 tight ends this high, that hard. So I'm going to go 25 here. I got my 50 up here. And then these players right here, I'm going to go 40 on. I'm going to spread out my points. Go 40 here. If I really want this strong safety, which I probably want to go after 2 4-star strong safeties. I'll probably just go after 1. So I'll just stick it here and go 40 there. Boom. We'll go like that. And then I got 35 more points to come down here and spread out my points. So just for the video to show you guys the deal breaker, I'm going to take the 50 off there. And I'm going to show you guys that deal breaker on that corner, the playing style later. So I'm just going to go 50 here to stay in the battle. But this is the playing style deal breaker. So I'm going to send 50 to show you guys, which I got to take that off first. But just to show you guys the deal breaker. And just to show you guys the impact of sending the house. Now, you can see the 5-star tight end, we weren't even on his board considering. I sent the house, and now I am number 1 on his board. And look how much we've moved up. So that is why you send the house to players that you really, really want. And that's going to be the same thing. You can see the corner was someone that we weren't even close to being on. And now we are number 1 after sending the house. And now the 40 points, just to show you guys reference, like, we did some influence there. These other players, we got influence, but it wasn't a crazy amount. So it's not, it's going to help to send the 40, but it's not better than send the house, as you guys can see. All right, now tip number 9 is going to be a 2-parter. 1, always pivot early. So like this is an example of, now I'm way behind LSU. They've already offered them. I'm behind Oklahoma. I'm going to save my points, and I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to sit here and just keep putting my points on him because most likely he's going to go there. Now, the other thing, though, is like you don't got to be scared of like I'm behind Arkansas right now, so I'm going to still go after him, and I'm going to switch to send the house if I really want this D tackle. But like you don't got to be too scared. Like you can still fight with them, but like if a team gets out to a big lead, then you don't want to sit there and like sit there with points behind. Same here with Texas. Like I'm taking my points off here because I don't want to sit here and fight with Texas when they've offered them. They got them offered. They got a big lead. Oklahoma, A&M. I'm not going to just sit here and keep wasting my points on them. I'm going to take my points off early, get out of the battle, and go somewhere else with my points. Also, another reason to pivot is if they're visiting before you, because like if LSU is this far ahead and say he had a week 4 visit here, they're probably going to commit to LSU. So make sure, another reason, the influence you can battle a little bit, but if you see a visit and they're ahead of you before you can even get them on a visit, then just don't even waste your time. Take your points, take them somewhere else, which goes into the other part of it is always, always, always get your visits in early. So like example, this D tackle, I'm going to get him a visit in early against New Mexico. I try to always get my visits as early as week 4 if I have a game and week 8. The reason being is you are a small school. You need the influence bonus for the visits before they go visit a big school because you will lose that battle almost every time. So visit very early. Also with your visits, try to make them complementary to each other where they get the bonus. So just to show you an example is I can put this cornerback on this week 5 visit. You always want to check the deal breaker, which is its play style right now. So it's good right now, but it could drop. But say you go play style and then I go put this strong safety on a visit. Boom, you see a complimentary visit where it does give me an extra bonus. So this strong safety, even though I'm not going to recruit him at all because I'm going to drop out the battle, but the strong safety does and the cornerback complement each other, so they're going to get a bonus on that visit. Now the D tackle won't get a visit, but if I did have like he won't get a bonus for the corner, but a linebacker and a DN would give the D tackle a bonus. So make sure players that complement each other go on the same visits. Now with that, I try to do my visits based on not only position but like offense and defense. Pretty much like, you know, week 5 will be my defense, so I get my defensive players all on the same visit, and then maybe week 8 I'll do offense, so I get those players on the visit, so they all complementary each other for the most part, and they boost each other. Now you can't do like a corner and a corner because then there'll be the competitive visit where they will give each other a negative impact. Also, with your visits, make sure that you look at the influence on the right side. Make sure that you visit with something that's influence. So you can see we're the same. I have the same tier as New Mexico, so I get a +3 because it's a rivalry game. Now Louisiana Tech, I get +3, but I'll only lose 1 because they're higher tier. The bye weeks, you get no influence for winning. As a small school, you want to go with the games that give you an influence, but also make sure you win those games. So now I would usually go play those games and make sure that I win those games as best I can. Now, if you're just bad at the game, then I don't know what to tell you. But make sure you win those games because that's going to help you get players to commit after the visit and get the biggest boost. But with that, like I said, visit early because even though I get the biggest bonus for this UTEP win, I don't want to schedule these visits that late because players are going to be committed by then. So I'm going to schedule all my players' visits between week 5 and 8, get them in early, make sure the visit's good, make sure you get those complimentary visits early and win those games because that's how you get the biggest impact to be able to beat out those bigger schools for these recruits. And again, here's another example. I'm ahead on the tight end, but he's a 5-star. I want to make sure I get him on a visit early, so I'm going to put him on the New Mexico visit as well. But you see, this is another tight end where I probably don't want to put him on the visit because it's a competitive visit. So for this tight end, I would probably wait to put him on a visit. And I don't want to put him at the same week as the tight end. Now, the tight end, I believe you're going to have to go with a quarterback to be able to get that bonus. But you do, like I said, make sure you put your players on visits early and often so they can get that boost for winning those games. Now, if you just can't win your game, then like I said, I don't know what to tell you, but make sure you visit early. And let's go, and I think I see the deal breaker. So, boom. This was the example I wanted to show you guys with the deal breaker. The cornerback, I've been putting points in. I sent the house on him. Oh, I'm getting this really good corner, 3-star from Georgia. I'm beating out Georgia. I got a visit offer, but my team's not getting interceptions. So, boom, deal breaker, D-. I don't know which tip number I said it was, but that is why you always got to check the deal breakers. Now, you can use it to your advantage, but check the deal breakers so you don't have this happen where you're locked out. And even though he would commit, if I could just get my interceptions up, make sure that you check those deal breakers. You don't have to just not recruit them, but like I said, those playing time, proximity to home, you would probably never get locked out. Proximity to home, you'll definitely never get locked out of. Playing time, you could if you recruit above them, or maybe you have a transfer or something like that. But the playing style one, if you don't think you are going to be able to hit that threshold of being a B- or higher, don't recruit those players because it'll be a waste of time. Even an example I had one year was, which I mentioned about the pro potential. I was at UTEP for a couple years. A couple years down the line, I get the number one left tackle in the class. The deal breaker was pro potential. So I just had a couple players drafted. So my pro potential was like a B. Got the number 1 commit in the country. And then he transfers after 1 year because my pro potential dropped because the next year I didn't have players drafted. So that is exactly why you gotta check the deal breakers. All right, and here's another example of why I said make sure you get your visits in early. So this D tackle is coming on a visit this week. We are barely ahead of, or behind Arkansas, but we got our visit barely ahead of them week 5 compared to week 6. If I would have put that visit at week 7 or 8 or anything after week 6, he would have guaranteed committed to Arkansas. Now we have a chance. So we'll sim. We might still not get him after this week. It's not a guarantee, but we do have a chance at least to get him because we put our visit before. So that is why you want to visit early, because those big schools will catch you, and if they visit before you, you're done. And boom, perfect example. Visit early. The D tackle commits before he goes on his visit to Arkansas because I got him on a visit early. That is how you do it. 4-star D tackle. We got him in early. We sent the house. Boom, right there. The visit puts us ahead of Arkansas. Even though Arkansas was ahead of us last week, we got him on the visit. I did force the win because I would usually go play the game, but, because I'm like that, I'd win. But obviously, if I lost that game, it probably doesn't help. But that's why you play the games, and if you're good at the game, you'll win. But besides the point, if you get them on a visit early, you get the bonus because it was a good visit. They will commit before before they can go on the other visit. That is why you always want to make sure you put them on visits early. And you can see that 5-star did commit to New Mexico State. So that's an example. You do want to send the house. He also wasn't on the board, but we really wanted this tight end. So we got him in. We put a lot of points into him. You can get 5 stars. Tight end is usually an easier position to get, but you can get 5 stars at a 1-star school, a small school. But don't waste your time over committing to trying to get them. If you're getting beat early, pivot, get out of the race, but you can still get them. You can see I got the 4-star D tackle. I got good players so far. All right, so now my next and last tip is always go back and check the recruiting later in the process. So with that, it's week 8. This is usually this is probably the earliest I would look, but week 8, 9, and 10, I will go recruit and I will go look at the prospect board, and I would go to any state, and I will go down the list to see who am I not locked out of that's not getting recruited, to try to find someone that's under recruited and that I can add to my team, because you want to see are they getting under recruited and don't have scholarships. So I will go through and look at the best players in the country. So here's a perfect example. A quarterback, 4-star quarterback, has no offers, not much interest, so I would add them to the board and try to recruit them late to see if I can get them late. And that is where I use my late visits. So my early visits, my first board, I'm getting my early visits in, I'm using them. Then I'm going to go back, add players to my board. Once I'm not really using as many points, I got hours to spend to go look at who are the best players in the nation that aren't getting recruited and don't have scholarships. Make sure they don't have scholarships, because if like USC offered them and they have a lot of influence, you're probably not going to beat them out at this point. But we're going to see, can I find some players that are later in the process that aren't being heavily recruited? I'm going to add them to my board and steal some good talent late in the process. And here's just an example, a halfback that does have offers, so I wouldn't touch him because I don't think I'm going to be able to catch up to SMU, TCU, and Texas Tech because he has offers, even though I can still recruit him. So I have that quarterback. I found a 4-star running back, and I found 2 athletes. One looks like to be a receiver. One's another quarterback. So I'm going to offer them all scholarships, and then I'm going to see if I'm able to try to convince them to come to the school after not recruiting them, after they're being under-recruited pretty much. So for the quarterback and the receiver, I'm going to send 25 to them since they are 3 stars. And then the quarterback, I'm going to send the house to. And to the halfback, I'm going to send the house to. Now, look, I am nowhere on their board. I'm not even close, quarterback and halfback, but they have no scholarship offers. And it's week 8. I'll back out, show you guys it's week 8. So I'm going to see, can I get in on them late and see if I can, get another 2 more 4 stars added to my team. And you can see just after 1 week, I am number 1 on the quarterbacks list and number 2 on the halfbacks list. So West Virginia did jump in late. They did offer them, but the quarterback I'm number 1 on. I'm still going to fight to see if I can get the halfback. Obviously, I'm going to want to get them on visits, but that is why you go check and see what players are out there that I can get in on late in the recruiting process. I can show you guys it's week 9 now, so that's 1 week. We've jumped up to number 1 on the quarterback, number 2 on the halfback. And you can see after another week, so on the athletes, I put 40 here. I'm number 1 on him. He has no other scholarships. The receiver athlete, we're number 1 on. No one else is really recruiting them. And then I'll go to the quarterback. We're number 1 on the 4-star quarterback that we got in late. Now, Kansas did offer them, so they're going to, we're going to have to fight for it a little bit. And then the halfback, West Virginia is barely ahead of us, but we're still fighting there. And I can show you guys again, it is week 10, so we only advanced 1 week. And after another week, we got a big lead on Kansas now. We're neck and neck with West Virginia for the halfback. And let's go ahead and check the athletes as well. We're still number 1 on both of their boards. So, like I said, that is why you go back and check late what players you can find that are being under-recruited. I should be able to get them on visits late in the process after they cut it down to the top 5. And the week 11, it's only another week. We're fighting for them. All right, so it is week 12. We did pass West Virginia, and we can schedule the halfback on a visit now. So I have my week 14 open for visits. So I will put the halfback on the visit Now you can see playing style is the deal breaker, so I know that's what he cares about. That's what we're going to use. And also, both athletes are ready to come on a visit, but I'm not going to put the scrambling quarterback on because the other 4-star quarterback is not ready for a visit yet, and I don't want to have a competitive visit, but the receiver is ready to come on a visit. So I'm going to put him on a visit. It looks like Coach Prestige is probably our best bet for him because that's what he cares about, but I'll show you the quarterback is here. And it doesn't look like it's going to let us put on a visit. It might be the glitch. It might be the glitch where I can't put him on a visit, but he might commit anyways. But I will check and see if I'll be able to put him on a visit. 12. So we got one more week after this that we can schedule visits. So we'll see if it'll let me schedule that quarterback for a visit and be able to get them signed before the season ends. All right, so it is letting me put the quarterback on a visit now. So I guess I was tripping because I don't think it was past the top 5 yet. But now it is, and you can see that athlete receiver does give a boost to the quarterback. So we're going to put him on a visit for that that Week 14 game against UTEP. So we got him on a visit. We got the halfback on a visit, and we're in the lead over West Virginia. And then I also got the receiver on a visit for Week 14. So we should be able to get those 3 players that I added late, which is why you want to always add players late. Now, look, I can put this athlete quarterback on a visit, but it's going to be a competitive visit with the 4-star quarterback. So I'm not going to put him on a visit. I'm just going to hope he can sign, and I'll have 2 players that can play quarterback, I guess. All right, and you can see we were able to get the 4-star halfback to commit before he went to West Virginia. So just to show you an example, now I am 2 weeks out, and I did I guess I got to send 1 more week. But I forgot to force win the visit, so I thought I wasn't going to be able to get the running back no more. But I will just show you guys real quick that, which we do get a cornerback. We do get another cornerback. And there's the quarterback. All right, so it's kind of perfect timing on that. But the quarterback we went after late, the 4-star quarterback, the halfback I went after late, both committed, and the receiver committed after the visit. But, and we didn't even win versus UTEP, I'll show you. And we did get the athlete quarterback as well. So you see all those players are signing, I believe, right before National Signing Day. Early National Signing Day. So let me show you guys this real quick. So we got the 4-star quarterback to sign. Oh, it's not going to let you see the recruiting. But the halfback was going on a visit Week 16 to West Virginia, and we got the 4-star halfback to commit before he went on his visit to West Virginia. And we didn't even win our visit game. So if we would have won that, he would have probably committed that week. But we got the 4-star quarterback we went after late. We got the halfback, and we got the receiver and the quarterback. But just to show you guys, and I didn't even recruit that heavy, I just want to give you guys the tips and show you guys, some different ways to get players and stuff. We ended up with a 5-star and 3 4-stars. 2 of them were late, and 1 we got early in this class. Now, like I said, there's different ways to recruit. You're at a small school, so you want to make sure that you do find those players late, these 4-stars late that you can add to your list late. Make sure you visit. Make sure, like the D tackle, you visit early. Make sure you send the house if you really want a player, like to get a 5-star or maybe a 4-star that you really want. Send the house instead of that. Another example, check your deal breakers, which we ended up getting that corner, so we must have got picks at the end of the year. But make sure you check them deal breakers because I don't know how we got that corner. The corner from Georgia. He committed, so we must have ended up getting picks. Yeah, so we must have gotten him picks. So we got the corner, but as I showed you guys earlier, make sure you check those deal breakers because you don't want to get locked out of players. Offer scholarships early. Don't scout past the first week so you can save your points. Spread out your points so you get a bunch of different players. Now, you can see these players I didn't take off the board and stuff as I usually would because I just wanted to show you guys the tips. And make sure you win your visits, which I actually messed up in the video because I forgot to force it for the UTEP game. But make sure you pick your visit early and make sure you pivot early off of players that you don't think you're going to get. Also, if you guys were curious, this recruiting class did end up ranked 29th in the nation. So we almost got in the top 25 as a 1-star school with 1 5-star, 3 4-stars, 16 3-stars, and 2 2-stars. So, but that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments of any recruiting tips that you guys have found to be useful in this game. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.